Hi guys, James from DBG here and welcome to another showcase video. Obviously, this time it is of the World War III Team Yankee complete starter set. Now obviously I posted the unboxing video of this a couple of days ago. Obviously I haven't done this in a couple of days. This has taken me just over a week to build and paint all these guys. But when you share a YouTube channel, we sort of had specific days where we upload, so it gives me a bit of time to fit everything in and get everything planned out. So yeah, it may seem like a miracle I've done this in a couple of days, and it wouldn't be unfeasible for someone who paints as fast as me to get this done in a couple of days, but no, I took my time, and I have to say, on the whole, Soviet tanks, really fun to paint, really quick, really easy, really simple colour schemes. Away you go. American tanks, wish I'd done a bit more research. I wish that I'd done a Google image search of 1980s American camouflage schemes, because the one in the book is a massive ball ache to paint. I imagine it would be slightly easier if you had a airbrush. Yeah, if you had an airbrush it might be slightly easier, but it would take probably just as long because of the faffiness of airbrushes themselves. But yeah, so yeah, I highly recommend that if you get this and you're going to do an American force, do a Google image search, unless you really like that colour scheme and you're more than happy to go ahead and where you go. But do a Google image search, because there are so much easier colour schemes to do than the one in the rule books. Anyway, and another thing, I have gone ahead and I have weathered them. It's very simple, just my usual dry brush weathering. I was going to get some decals and pop them on, but I decided not to, mainly because most of the decals you don't actually see unless you look really closely, especially on the American vehicles. They're more obvious on the Soviet vehicles because they're white numbers and red flags and stuff like that. So yeah, you'll see those. But what I'm planning to do, before we take a closer look, I know I'm rambling again, but you know, that's what I do. What I'm planning to do is I'm going to expand the Soviet force up to 100 points, and I'm going to sell the American force, purely because I want a British force. I want a modern British force. You may say that's a bit of national bias. It is a bit of national bias. On the whole, if you put a Challenger 2 and an M1 Abrams next to each other, they're pretty much the same tank. I know there's differences, pretty much the same shape, pretty much the same size, pretty much the same weight, and they do have exactly the same gun, because the NATO and the British 120mm gun was the best on the market. So most of the NATO nations have the British 120mm gun. That's America, that's us, that's Germany, that's basically anyone who buys their vehicles from us, from West Germany. By West Germany, I do mean Germany. Sorry, I'm slipping into Cold War here. Yeah, they'll have the British 120mm gun. Anyway, but so I'm planning on selling those and buying the British starter force, which on its own is 100 points. The only thing I need to do is throw some infantry at it, bish bash bosh, done. Soviet one, a bit more involved, probably a lot more expensive. Bearing in mind what's going on in the world and the stuff that's going on in my life at the moment regarding work, that may well have to wait for a considerable amount of time, but we'll wait and see. We'll see. You never know. Anyway, that's enough rambling. I've been rambling almost 4.5 minutes. Anyway, without further ado, let's look at some of these tanks. Obviously, American force, you have M1A1 Abrams, even though these ones are IPM1s, which is basically an M1A1. You have your Bradleys. I believe these are the A3 variant. I could be wrong. and then you have your M60s, the patterns. And then on the Soviet side, we have your BMP3s, your T80Us, and your T64s. Yeah, Soviet stuff really easy to put together. I've found that the American stuff, especially the extended bustles, I'll show you in a minute, the extended bustles on the M1A runs, bit awkward to get it together. There's no keying whatsoever, so you've got to guide by eye and guide by the instructions. So yeah, I highly recommend, because there's 3 parts. Right, let's have a look. There we go. There's 3 parts. You've got that side part there, you've got this back part to the bustle there, and you've got that side part there. I highly recommend gluing this side in first, well not this side, either side in first, and letting it dry properly. Whatever glue you're using, let it dry properly. Even if you have to wait an hour, 2 hours, let it dry properly. Then put the other side in, but make sure it's lined up with that side. Let it dry properly. Then put the back bit in, and then leave it and let it dry. And you really can't go wrong. Anyway, so this is the Company Commander. I decided to just use standard green overalls on the tank commanders, because in the books all the tank commanders have the 4-colour European camouflage scheme, and it just doesn't go with the really annoying 3-4 colour camo on the tanks. They're just too, yeah, they're too different. And there you go, they sort of clash. I know the crew figure's small, but it clashes in an annoying way that you can just see. All the crates and stuff in the back of the bustle, they are actually on the sprues. They actually came with the tanks, and I thought that'd be rather cool to put those in. Then we have the Bradleys. Now, these ones are the TOW variants. As you can tell, it's got the 2 TOW missiles there. TOW stands for tube launch, operably tracked, wire guided. And also they're up armoured with these armour plates at the front, sides, and on the turret. Normal Bradleys don't have that. Then we have the M60, the pattern. Now this kit, I believe you can make various variants of the pattern, so from the Vietnam era through to the Israeli and Jordanian forces that use them, and then to the American forces. Now on to the Soviet ones. Here is a T80, and it's got the battalion commander in there. Now, Soviet tank crews at the time, I believe they still do, wear black overalls. I decided to do red shoulder boards and red trim around the cap. Mainly, I have no idea if it's historically accurate, but mainly so it's obvious on the tabletop that he is a battalion commander. And then if we look at this one, he's got a different commander in with the classic Soviet leather helmet. Then we've got the T64. There we go, focus. Again, very similar. It's a very flat tanks. They're designed to have minimum profile. Oh, and all Soviet tanks do have a log. See, there's a log on the back there. And there is a log on this. There's a log there. It's to help get them out of ditches and things. So all Soviet tanks carry a log with them. Here's the BMP3, which is a fun little kit. Focus. There we go. Which is a fun little kit. But yeah. And actually quite a versatile little armoured vehicle. You can carry troops, you can be a scout, it's got an anti-tank missile, it's got a rather devastating 100mm gun, which is perfect for taking out dug in infantry, and it's got a 30mm gun, which is quite good at taking out light vehicles and possibly helicopters and stuff like that. So there we go. That is the World War III Team Yankee complete starter set in all its glory. So yeah, I hope you guys have enjoyed this. As usual, do check all the links and stuff in the descriptions for everything I can never remember, apart from Patreon and Goblin Gaming, but all the other links in there for our social media stuff. Do all the YouTube stuff, like and subscribe. It would be really cool to hit the elusive 2K mark this year at some point. I mean, we're all stuck at home, so let's watch some YouTube. And as always, thank you guys for watching. Do stay safe, and I'll catch you next time.